Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. Well, it's 28 degrees. It's the first week of October. My fish are loving this, but it's coming to an end real quick. Well, the plan is, or was, to put a bunch of videos together where my buddy Jim, as in Jim the Digger, and I went out to some ponds in our area. Some are natural, some are man-made, and these pond owners wanted to make some changes to their ponds. So they wanted our advice, which we were more than happy to give. And we're going to show you some shots that we took in the fall, that being in late September. And then hopefully we'll show you the same properties again in the summer of next year. The plan is not to release this video until it's a little colder out. And well, you're dying to see some life in your ponds, because I know winter can drag on and on and on. So we'll be doing these in a series. The first two properties I'm going to take you to will probably blow your mind. The first one has almost 1 million Google views just for the bridge alone. See, the bridge is, well, it's man-made, handmade, with stone only. So it's a dry stone bridge. That's no mortar. That's nothing to hold it together. There's no beams. There's nothing but rock. And it is amazing. The whole property is amazing. You have a really cool moat system that this bridge goes over. You'll be amazed. The second property I'll be taking you to, well, it looks like it should be in the Mediterranean, but it's in Lindsay. It's beautiful, and what the best of it is the person I'm taking you to. Well, he interviewed me 5 years ago about my pond, and at that time I just had shabumpkins in my pond, no koi, and things have changed a lot. It's come full circle. He interviewed me for a local television program about ponds, and now I get to return the favor. But like I said, there's going to be continuing videos throughout the late fall and early winter with Jim and I going around visiting great properties, all about dreams about the future. And what better time to talk about the future is, when you're in the dead of winter and you're dying to see something green again and life back in your pond. Well, let's get going. I think you guys are really going to enjoy these. Thanks again. Remember to hit that like button if you're liking what you're seeing or hearing. Remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And if you haven't done it already, please think about subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Doesn't cost you anything, and I won't ask anything of you. Take care, and let's get going. The first property we'll see, just kidding. It's just my guys looking for food before I head off and show you the other ones. Did I mention it's 28 degrees? Oh, wow. These guys are still dying for extra food, and I'll be able to feed them a little bit more until it's time to, well, put them on a different feed and slow it way down. Like I said, let's get going. On our very first stop, we hit, well, it's a famous bridge about 20 minutes south of where I live. It's in a village called Pontypool. This is a dry stone bridge. That means there's no mortar or any support other than the rock itself holding the bridge up. And it's truly amazing. It was done by some people from the area, and, well, it was their first bridge they ever built. But we're talking about ponds and streams, so let's get to it. Start off with a beautiful natural looking stream that, well, it's just soothing and it looks so natural. Even the bottom of the stream, you'd swear is a seasonal stream, but yet this runs all year round. And it's beautiful. The sounds are soothing. They're not overpowering. There's several areas where it widens and gets deep or deeper, and before it goes down several sets of falls to the main pond itself. But when I first saw it, I could have sworn this was a natural stream. Just look at it. Sure looks natural to me. Aren't those sounds just soothing and calming? I can definitely see why they built this. They've taken the time to plant everything meticulously. And this is late summer. Well, it's actually fall time. And everything's still vibrant and looking great. These people sure are passionate about making this setting look, well, stunning. It's truly a labor of love, and they clearly love their backyard. Doesn't that sound soothing? Oh, wow. That takes the winter blues away, that's for sure. We'll get to see more of that bridge shortly. There are a few inhabitants of this. They're just plain goldfish. But that's all they want in there. See, this isn't a koi pond. This is all about the sound and the look. Don't get me wrong, they do enjoy their fish. Well, let's meet these great couple. Well, we're here at Dave and Laura's beautiful spot. Their front yard is amazing, but their backyard, well, you got to see it to believe it. And both these fine folks were paramedics helping the community for lots of years. And well, I think they needed a bit of a stress release, and I'll let you guys talk about it.
Yeah, well, I'm David, obviously, and you will see a lot of rock in this garden. That was my job. And yes, it was therapy. That's the sole reason why we started doing it, and it's just turned into a love for sure.
Absolutely a passion, yeah.
Yeah.
We may have gotten a little carried away.
That's the fun of it, though.
That's the fun of it. And it's a work in progress. We're still working on it.
Well, it's a lifestyle, right?
It is.
And I hear, because you did all the work, as in the lug work, someone else had to do the other hard work, which was the shopping.
The shopping. Retail therapy can be very taxing, but I've enjoyed every moment of it, and it's never going to end. And there's always something new spot, new plant to put.
Or something new to buy.
Or something new to buy. That's Mr. Stumpy's. He's actually like 25 years old, but yeah, it's amazing what kind of little garden things you can put out there.
No, and Laura was not a gardener.
No, I wasn't.
She was an East York born and bred girl, never apartments, never gardened at all.
Concrete City.
I knew what a petunia was, and I had seen a blue jay. This is a filterless system, and they want it to remain natural looking. So they don't want any box filters or any fancy filters. They want nature to look after it. And I can understand that. Again, this is all about the gardens. It's not as much about the pond. even though I love the pond and all its inhabitants. Jim was off, well, being a gardener, just being amazed by everything that they had done. From the Hobbit house to all the use of plants and the stairs and the steps and all the paths in between. As you can see, that we're busy and great in-depth conversation about the build. What an amazing couple. Every bit of this was done by hand. No machines. David's, well, he's lugged every rock down here and placed it. His wife did all the gardening. What a great team effort. And everything has its place, and everything has its name. And I don't think I'd ever get out of their backyard. We could have spent hours there. In fact, we did. This pond, or as I'd call it, a moat, is over 60 feet long. David even made that himself with a 3D printer. Impressive.
Chris, what I need to know is what kind of plants can I put in here that are going to give us some color and survive the winter?
Well, I'm a firm believer in bog filters. Both Jim and I use bog filters, and we swear by them. So the best thing we could do is, in this area here, is we'll put some native iris along with some yellow flagstone, probably some bog bean and or bog arum in here. And what that'll do, along with some arrowheads, it'll give you lots of color throughout the summer. Even a little bit of pickerel weed, all native, all really hardy. So they just need a skim of water over the winter, and they can freeze right down into the -40s, and they're okay.
Awesome.
And
sounds
that'll
interesting.
clean this up, so you won't have any algae in here,
Right.
and it'll purify your water, because I love this natural look of the stream, and you don't want to disrupt that, but you also want it clean, so
Yeah.
you have a better view for your fish down below, which are it's pretty clean now, and so, but that will just rectify any problem with algae and make it easier on your pump, actually.
Well, the lower pond wasn't that clean about 3 weeks ago. When the water was warm, there was a lot of algae, and I just dragged it out.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you get algae blooms even in the cleanest water.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. We'll come back in the spring, and we'll show you what we've done.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, we're on this amazing bridge. This bridge apparently has how many thousand views on Google?
650,000 views.
650,000 views on just this bridge.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was done by a dry stone mason by the name of John Shaw Remington.
Yep.
And Mark Ricard. They're friends of mine, and I told them I wanted a unique bridge, and they said, how unique? And I told them this, and they go, oh, I don't know. But they did it, and really it's pretty amazing. We really love it.
I don't think I've ever seen a bridge like this.
Yeah.
Well, you said it, it's amazing. And what's also amazing is the length of this pond. It's got to be 60 to 70 feet long. Now, I know it's not very deep. It's only about 2.5 to 3 feet at its deepest.
Yeah, it's
yeah, great for goldfish. And we're going to try some water lilies in here. And with the sediment that's down there, we may even be able to plant it right in there and for gogopods.
Yeah, okay.
And I see we got the
got a
chipmunk
chippy.
going, where is my food?
No, he's annoyed because we're on his transport across. Yeah. Yep. No, and I guess this bridge is dry stone as well. There's no supporting structure at all to it. It's all just held together with gravity.
Oh God! What's the weight restriction on this?
Well, we've had 20 people standing on it, so it's not.
Are they skinny?
No. No problems at all. It's really the only thing that could really harm this bridge is if ice came up from underneath.
Well,
that's the only thing.
I don't think is going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
No, this plant here, that's
holly.
That's a holly.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've gone through a few.
Okay.
So it's not. It's probably number 3 or 4 or 5, but it's been a couple of years now, and it's made it.
Well, you are a good 30 minutes south of us, and
it's a good sheltered spot too.
It's actually very cold here in the winter. We're actually colder than Peterborough or Lindsay. We have our own little system here, and so a lot of things don't make it. So this one's happy now, year 2 or 3, but we'll see if it makes another winter.
I don't know if I've ever seen so many frogs. There's one big one there, 3, 4 large ones there, another one there.
But the best way to find the frogs is to send the dogs out, and they run through, and all the frogs jump into the pond. And if you're gardening in there, you get a little startled.
Yeah.
There's probably 100 frogs in here.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, they would help keep down the bugs.
Yeah, a little bit.
They
need to work harder, though. I got bit a few times this summer.
Yeah.
They
would also help with mice.
Oh, okay.
Like your bigger frogs and bullfrogs especially.
Oh, yeah, we do
love to eat mice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and when you have water and rocks, it attracts mice, right?
Oh, right. Yes, it does. So
and moles and bowls.
Yeah.
So
yes,
have at her.
Yep.
And you'll probably get lots of garter snakes around here.
Yeah, we have garter snakes. Yep, they eat the frogs.
Eat some frogs. And
we're okay with that.
And we do get in the spring we get the kingfishers, which like to come and eat our fish.
You're gonna show us
the scales up on the mojito hut there.
Hut.
And in the fall we get the heron, which comes, and they're just amazing birds. We love the herons.
Oh yeah, so do we.
Yeah.
Not.
As I'm chasing them with a hatchet in my underwear.
So, dear, I think Chris would be interested in finding out how the mojito hut got its name.
Well, it's a bit of a tricky story, but I used to have a neighbor who was very nice, lived next door there, and she would often say, "Laura, you're working too hard. Let me bring you a mojito." And one day she brought me a bottle of mojito, and I sat out here, and I may have had a bit too much. So I had a little trouble getting home across the bridge, and had to go to bed. So I was also meeting my daughter's boyfriend for the first time that day. So a little embarrassed when she said, "Gee, I bet you can't tell how drunk my mother is." And so it is now called the Mojito Hut, but I don't drink mojito anymore.
We wanted to include more of their property. We did a little bit of a shot of the front yard, which is meticulous. They truly are gardeners extreme, and they love it. It's a pure passion for them, that's for sure. I really like the stone pathway. There's a lot of work into that. Really is an amazing piece of property. I just had to show you a bit of their deck at the side of the house. I love this covered section, just to get out of the full sun. It even had a fan on it. You gotta like that. And what a view from up there.
Well, sometimes you think you've seen it all, and then you come to a garden like this. Wow, just amazing. All the work that's gone into this place. I can't imagine hauling all this rock back here down the hills, creating all these steps and stairways. And of course, this bridge is incredible. We do want to thank Laura and David for inviting us here to take a look at their creation, their oasis. It is just beautiful. I said to Chris on the way up here, you see the front of someone's house and you really have no expectations really of what you're going to encounter in their backyards. It's just incredible. You would never know this existed from the front of the house. Anyway, thanks again, guys.
The next location we go is back in town. And you'd swear you're in the Mediterranean. These are some pictures the owner had taken during the summer before we had the bad hailstorm, and most of the plants were, well, they're set back several months. And I wanted to include what it looks like in the summer because we didn't get there till late fall when everything wasn't in bloom as it is right now. It truly is beautiful. I'm here with Mike Sloboda. It's just a beautiful backyard. It's one of the most nicest manicured backyards I've seen in a very long time. Mike and I met, well, it's got to be 4 years ago now, where you actually interviewed me on a cable TV program. So it's definitely full circle now.
Yeah.
And this time I get to interview Mike on his beautiful property. We're going to take a look around the property, and Mike's going to tell us all about his ponds and his beautiful backyard.
It truly is a Mediterranean look here. And the pond is just an added feature to it. This property is about the gardening and the look, not necessarily about the pond itself.
Excellent. Well, Mike, tell us about your pond.
Well, it's about 100 gallon. It's not very deep, so it's not deep enough to winter them. So I used to bring the fish in every year, and I had a lot of koi in there. It's a small pond for you know, if you want to spend money on koi, but it really is beautiful to have the koi. And so instead of having the koi because of the crane, the herons, I got goldfish, and they're a lot less expensive a meal for the heron. So, but it's been enjoyable. It's wonderful to have the sound of the water, and if you're in town, it can drown out the noise of the city a little bit. And not that we have a lot of noise here, but we really enjoy it, and we have a lot of different kinds of plants, rock plants, and things that really, you know, show really well all through the season, from the spring right through into late fall. And one of them was our Japanese sumac. It tends to change color and gets really gold, where the native sumac is mostly red. It's kind of a really vibrant red. This one turns to a really brilliant yellow as the season progresses, and it gets those little red flower pods on them too, and adds a lot of texture. I find it adds a lot of texture. And throughout the season, we've got a lot of rock plants and succulents too, that they can take a lot of drought. That's another thing that we liked about it. It's a low maintenance garden. It doesn't have a lot of stuff that has to be watered, but we do have a lot of potted plants in our yard. It adds a lot of color and texture.
We certainly do. We're going to take a tour of your yard if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I can't believe this is late September, and we're in central Ontario, Canada, and your plants are still thriving. I love your sumac. It looks more like a bonsai.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the hedge too is that, and it's a sheltered area, so as you're pointing out, Chris, late fall we tend to get a lot of you get the frost, of course, and we're fairly lucky in this spot because the hedge and the ice, kind of the closed in area, tends to protect it from the severe frost until it gets really, really bad, and then we will cover stuff up, and eventually we take a lot of our big pots in, and they spend the winter in the garage, like our oleanders and our Kimberley ferns, and we've got a lot of large plants that literally survive all winter in the garage, and even though the garage isn't heated, they manage quite well, and we just bring them out right in the beginning of May or the middle of May, depending on the weather, and they just start growing like crazy. So, and even in late fall or early spring, this patio generates a lot of heat. You can come out here and there'll be snow on the ground, and the patio actually will be bare in a lot of areas because the sun's so warm. So it's quite a nice little kind of a Shangri-La, you might say, for us.
Well, it's a beautiful spot.
Well, Mike, the first thing I noticed when I entered your backyard is all your potted plants. They're huge. I guess you've had some of these for several years, hauling them in and out.
Yeah, every year, and they get a little bit heavier every year.
How often do you have to repot them? And some of these, your oleanders are massive.
Yeah, well, those ones that one I repotted last spring, and I'm probably going to have to do it again because it's getting top heavy. But in the summer, it's just absolutely loaded with flowers.
Oh, I bet. I can see that.
Yeah. And the other one, there's another one over, there's two different colors, and the other one there is a fragrance that just permeates throughout the whole park.
Oh, the darker, it's the darker
The
pink.
darker one, yeah. Like a magenta.
Yeah. I have one of those. It's about this big at the moment. Started off as a cutting this spring. Beautiful dark pink flowers on them, and the fragrance is amazing. Off of them.
Yeah, and the hummingbirds love it. That's the other thing too. They bring in a lot of hummingbirds,
They do.
And we've got a few, like the geraniums, they're usually just loaded with flowers by now.
Yeah.
But we had that hail damage in the spring, and so it literally set them back quite a bit.
It did.
And we've got a Mona lavender here. It's another hummingbird plant that
beautiful tubular flowers on it. Yeah, I got one of those this spring too. It did quite well, and it didn't get too much hail damage. It was sort of sheltered under a shrub. That took the beating, and it survived it. Your ferns, how many years have you had these?
We've had these about 7 years, and I've split them. There was actually one, and I split it into 4.
Yeah.
And now we've got 3. One of them really died back last year, but we added a few extra things to it.
Yeah.
And we've got the Chinese pots, and so that one shows up just like the Baltic ivy.
Yeah.
The Baltic ivy, it's in a Japanese pot, but it's literally taken over.
It sure has.
And it's a winter. It could take the winter if it was outside, but we bring it in because it's got the ferns in it as well, eh?
Yeah.
But
it's a really nice combination there, the textures.
It really is. It really is. And it's a good area. It doesn't get a lot of sun there, so it's perfect for plants that can't take a lot of sun. Like we've got an orchid cactus there.
Yeah.
It goes in the sunroom all winter, and it blooms like anything too.
Inside
the sunroom here, yeah. And it blooms twice a year, but it can't take the sun. It gets sunburned real easily. And
just kind of that scorched color. Yeah. Fantastic. A lot of your planters don't look like they had a lot of damage from the hail.
Well, I'm surprised they've come back. This one especially has come back quite a bit.
Yeah.
But they would have been twice as tall by now. And there's some over by the other end of the pool that were outstanding, and they have like 70 or 80 great big blossoms on them every year because they're quite old. Like they survive the garage every winter. They're in the garage, and a lot of times they don't even lose their leaves. They just stay in the pot all winter. And if you've got a place to put plants that they can survive without being frozen, then obviously in the wintertime they'll bounce right back as soon as the heat. They just kind of go dormant.
A lot of them just go dormant.
Yeah. We water them. My wife waters them about once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, just to keep the roots moist, and they do fine.
I have some plumeria, and I'd haul them in the house. I just put them in a bright room upstairs and forget about them.
Well, I just want to thank you for having us over. This is a spectacular backyard. I didn't know what to expect, and well, I'm blown away, Mike. Very impressed.
Well, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor having you guys here, and just been a real pleasure showing you around the place. And come back again.
We will. Well, thanks again.
Thanks very much.
And I can't wait to get some of those videos from the summertime when everything's in full bloom, because it's pretty spectacular now, but I can't imagine it in full bloom.
We get a lot of color here in the spring, June and July. It's just amazing.
Great. Well, thanks again.
Going to leave you with these two cute foxes. They're definitely a pair.
Well, thanks again for joining us on this first episode of the winter pond tours that, well, they're not really winters. Thank you for joining us where we got to see those two amazing spots. Wait till you see the next two. I think you're going to like them. Stay tuned and keep your eye open for the next episode. Remember, hit that like button. Think about subscribing. If you haven't done so already, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Take care, everyone. Stay warm. See you real soon. Bye for now.